Alright, I think we're live. Can you also tell me, why is it not showing my screen? Alright, I don't know why this isn't working. I'll do this real quick. Actually, why the hell is this not working? Okay, my screen's not here for some reason. Gosh dang, and there's things I wanted to go over too. Actually, where the hell is my broadcast? Well, if you're tuning in, welcome. I'm trying to figure out why my screen capture is not working. This is my main scene, obviously. For some reason, not let me share my screen. Okay, great. I've been live for 4 minutes. I haven't talked about anything yet. This is awesome, dude. This is pissing me off, dude. What the fuck? And why is this shit not working? Dude, might just have to restart OBS. Dude, I don't want to restart OBS. That's the thing, I don't. Alright, well, I want to restart OBS. This is pissing me off. Alright. Alright, well, I'm sorry that I'm kind of just figuring this shit out on the fly right now. Let me make sure that we're live on YouTube. I think we are, but just want to be sure. There's a little bit I'm going to talk about today. But like, it was better if I did it while I was live, so... Perfect. Alright, so... Good morning, almost afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Caleb Perez Show. It is Monday, March 30th, 2026. Welcome to the show. There's a few things I want to talk about. Figured it would be better if I chose to do it while I was live on YouTube. So here we are. I'm live on YouTube. We're going to go over March Madness and some of the Elite 8 games that we saw yesterday. We're going to go over the NHL Wildcard Race. Disappointing result for my Blue Jackets last night. Still a lot of games left. Not a lot. There's only a few games left, but still plenty of chances. And then we're going to go over opening weekend for Major League Baseball. Baseball season got kick-started again. There's some winners of the weekend. There's some losers, but we're going to go over all these. But we're going to start off with March Madness. Go over some of the games that we saw over the weekend and try to break down this Final Four matchup because it's interesting. That's for sure. Well, let's gonna start off with the Final Four right now. This side of the bracket I got completely wrong. This side of the bracket I ended up being one. I ended up being 1 for 4 for my Final Four picks this year. My original picks were Duke versus Florida and Michigan versus Arkansas. We got Arizona versus Michigan and UConn versus Illinois. Illinois has been playing very well. I think UConn's going to become a very heavy betting favorite now that they have upset Duke. They've won 2 of the last 3 tournaments, obviously. They've always been very good at basketball, at both men and women's basketball. Now they're back in the Final Four, looking to get back to their first championship game since 2024 when they won it all. In 2023 when they won it all. So let's go on that side. Arizona, they've been dominant this tournament. I mean, Arkansas was the Final Four team for me, and they beat the absolute shite out of them. They beat the crap out of Purdue, too, and Purdue was a very good team, so Arkansas has been playing great. But obviously, Michigan, I feel like of the top 3 betting favorites, Michigan has always consistently done very good. They struggled a little bit against Tower, but picked it up against St. Louis, beat the crap out of Alabama, and absolutely dominated Tennessee. So this Michigan team is definitely battle-tested. They've played some decent teams along the way. But I think most importantly, they've had the more dominant wins based on what I have seen for Michigan. Don't get me wrong. Arizona has also dominated a lot of games. So that being said, Michigan has scored 90 points, at least 90 points in every single game they've been in this tournament. So Michigan's definitely, in my opinion, played the best. With that being said, this Arkansas-Michigan game is a coin flip for me. 2 of the 3 betting favorites to win the tournament before it started, now playing each other in the Final Four. It's going to be a very good game. I took an $8 future out on Kalshi on Michigan win the whole thing, so I'm going to go with Michigan. But it's going to be a very good game. Should be fun one to watch, that's for sure. Of course, the second game I think this one's getting played first. UConn and Illinois. Obviously, I talked about UConn a little bit. They've been on a great run. We saw their amazing walk-off victory against Duke yesterday. They beat Michigan State. They beat the crap out of UCLA. They beat Furman. A closer game against Furman, but I think the biggest thing for this UConn team is that they've gone through the adversity. They've been in those tight games. They've been in those close situations. They've performed well in adversity, and that's what's going to give them a little bit of advantage in this game. But don't get me wrong, Illinois has been very very good too. They beat Iowa, who had been playing a phenomenal tournament up until that game. They beat Houston, who I think a lot of people had going to the Final Four. Dog walked Texas A&M. They dog walked. Not Texas. Sorry, they beat the crap out of VCU. They beat the crap out of Penn. Big Ten representation in this tournament, and from an unlikely source too. This Illinois team is very strong. They've played very good basketball all year. They've played great basketball in the tournament. I personally think, though, UConn's a bit better. They have a bit more talent coaching wise. Obviously, they've been to the Final Four twice over the last two of the last 3 seasons, and they won the championship in both years. So, UConn, I'm gonna go with the slight advantage to UConn. I'm gonna say UConn beats Illinois, Michigan beats Arizona for a UConn versus Michigan championship. I'm gonna go Michigan. I feel like Michigan's played the best basketball of the teams left in the tournament, especially offensively. I mean, 90 points a game in the tournament is phenomenal. 101 on Howard, 95 on St. Louis, 90 on Alabama, 95 on Tennessee. Michigan's basically had it easy this far in the tournament. Now, I know UConn's giving them a test. UConn's a very good team. They've played adverse situations. I know for sure this UConn team is going to keep it close till the very end. Simply put, I feel like Michigan's the best of the teams left. So if Michigan does beat Arizona, I think Michigan wins the national championship. So I'm riding with Michigan still. But it's been a crazy March Madness. We've seen a lot of great games, few upsets. A lot more upsets than last year, that's for sure. But I do believe firmly that at the end of the March Madness, the Michigan Wolverines will be standing on top of college basketball. But if you differ, let me know. But personally, I feel like Michigan is by far the best of the teams left. Let's move on to hockey. Obviously, for a lot of these teams, there's only a few games left. Only a few more opportunities to prove why you belong in the playoffs and the other teams don't. Obviously, the big race is in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to start with the West first. So I feel like the West, there's some complication in the West. Although it looks like we know who the clear favorites are. It's this division right here. The Avalanche, the Stars, Minnesota. They've been playing very good. They've, in my opinion, are the 3 best teams in the NHL. They are the betting favorites right now. Pacific Division has been wide open for a long time. I mean, 2 of the top 3 in the Pacific have a negative goal differential. That's outrageous. Nashville finds himself in a playoff spot, and their goal differential is negative 26. Yeah, the West kind of sucks this year. Like, I think there's no denying at this point. The West sucks this year. Obviously, Ducks lead the way in the Pacific. Best Pacific team, in my opinion. Oilers really picked it up in the second half, got going well. And they got hot at the right time, too, so good job for the Oilers. There was the biggest news in the NHL yesterday about the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas fired their head coach, Bruce Cassidy, the guy who brought them to their Stanley Cup, and they're replacing him with John Tortorella. It will be interesting to see how Tortorella is going to mesh with that Vegas roster, especially Mitch Marner, who's as soft as a teddy bear. But we'll see. That's definitely an interesting situation, in my opinion, but it'll be an interesting one to watch. Obviously, we saw how much hiring a new coach went for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who completely turned their season around. I understand they've been cold, losing 3 of their last 4, but Columbus can easily be a statement as to how hiring a new coach at the right time could go for success, immediate success right away. So we'll see how Vegas works with John Tortorella. But yeah, that's the top 3 in each division. Looking at the wildcard race for the West right now, I think Utah is very close to this being a lock, in my opinion. Of the wildcard teams or of any team in the wildcard race in the West, Utah has by far been the best. They've been a lot more consistent. Are they the best team? No, but they've definitely played really good hockey, pretty decent hockey all year round. They've been consistently in that first wild card spot. Obviously, with them being in the Central Division, it's been tough up there. But Utah's the best of the wild card teams. The second wild card, I'm legit convinced that nobody wants to be in there. You got Nashville, like, a whole bunch of negative goal differentials here. Obviously, Vancouver, the only team who've been eliminated, so shocker, we're not seeing Vancouver. Chicago and Calgary close to being eliminated. I'm surprised the Blues are even remotely this close. San Jose's still there technically with a chance. But really, I'm keeping it in between these three teams right here. Maybe if the Jets can continue to get hot a little bit more. They're higher up in the standings than they were about a month ago. We'll say that. So Winnipeg's a lot closer in this situation than I thought they would be. But in my opinion right now, it's between Nashville, Los Angeles, and the Seattle Kraken for that last wildcard spot in the West. Personally, I like the Kings a little bit more. That's just in my opinion. They have the experience. They definitely have a good enough team too. They added Artemi Panarin at the deadline. I feel like the Kings have always had the experience to make it. They've had the team to make it, that's for sure. They've just kind of underachieved. I still think the Kings are going to make it, but it'll probably be a very quick first round exit for the Kings, or whoever makes the second wildcard spot. I feel like is going to be a quick exit because either you play Anaheim, he's been very good this season. Ignore the negative goal differential. They've been by far the best team in the Pacific. Or you got to play Colorado, who'd most likely just kick the shit out of you in 4 games. But yeah, I'm going with the Kings to make that last wildcard spot. They bought at the deadline for the most part, so I'm going with the Kings. So yeah, my playoff teams are any team in the top 3 right now: Utah and then the Kings. That's my Western Conference playoff race. Who makes it in the West? Over on the Eastern side, obviously a lot more competitive. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and Carolina are really the for sure ends for me. Montreal, I think, is only another 1 or 2 away for, in my opinion, being a for sure lock as well. Outside of that, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Boston, Columbus, Ottawa, Detroit, and the Flyers. That's the big race right there. We saw the Blue Jackets and the Bruins go into overtime last night. The Bruins reversing a 3-0 deficit to beat the Blue Jackets 4-3 in a shootout. So that really tightens things up here. Here's what's in the bad part for Columbus. Sure, they're in. They're 2 points in the green. With that being said, Ottawa, Detroit, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, probably your biggest competitors right now, they all have a game in hand on you. So that's a disadvantage for Columbus. The Bruins are in a pretty good spot right now. The Penguins and the Islanders play each other tonight, so that's going to be a fun game to watch. Tortorella's first game with the Golden Knights is going to be tonight as well, by the way. But obviously, big game to watch up tonight. Pittsburgh and the Islanders do play each other. So if you're Columbus, you are hoping that this game ends in regulation. Who wins doesn't matter, but you want this game to end in regulation. Because once the game is over, Pittsburgh, you'll be even on games with Pittsburgh while also still having a game in hand on the Islanders. So honestly, best hope for Columbus for tonight is that the Penguins do beat the Islanders. The game is in the island, so the Islanders do have home ice tonight, but obviously Pittsburgh's been a little bit cold recently. I feel like of the teams in this race, like Pittsburgh's been a little bit cold as of late. Obviously with Crosby being, I don't know if Crosby's playing tonight or not. He did leave last game early, so we'll see what the news is on Crosby. I imagine he'll go. I mean, with how tight this playoff race has become, I feel like you got to play if you're Sidney Crosby, but we'll see there. But yeah, for Columbus, I would say your best case scenario for tonight is that the Penguins beat the Islanders in regulation. Worst case scenario is that this game goes to overtime and both teams can get a point away from you. Obviously, what's that stake for each team? Islanders, you need to win in regulation. Pittsburgh, you need to win in regulation. For Boston, just keep chugging along. Of the teams left in the wildcard race for a wildcard spot, Boston with their win last night definitely finds himself in the best position. Yeah, they definitely find themselves in the best position here. So, and hey, who knows? If Montreal slips up, they lose a game. Montreal loses a couple games, you win a couple more, you're in third place in the Atlantic. So Boston just keeps chugging along. Carolina, Montreal, Tampa Bay, Montreal. They're the teams by far in dominant control of the Eastern Conference. Keep winning games, keep getting closer to the playoffs. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and Carolina are only a win away from cracking 100 points on the year, so they'll most likely be clinching their playoff spots sooner rather than later. Second place, third place in the Metro, and then the two wildcard teams. I am not expecting to clinch until further down the road. Boston has the best opportunity of clinching as of right now. They've still got a decent way to go, though, so they're not going to clinch anytime soon. They'll probably be the last couple games of the season, I imagine, if Boston does end up clinching that spot, but they're definitely in the best position. But yeah, playoff race right now. It's Columbus, it's Ottawa, it's Detroit, it's Philadelphia. Three teams have been playing very good recently. Columbus is in a bit of a rough stretch. They've lost 3 of their last 4. And obviously, Ottawa, Detroit, and Philadelphia all have a game in hand on Columbus. Well, Columbus does have a 2-point advantage. If Ottawa wins their next game, because the goal differential, they jump Columbus. Detroit and Philadelphia, however, they have negative goal differentials. Columbus is positive still. So even if they do even the points with Columbus, Columbus would still have the advantage because of the goal differential. But if Ottawa wins another game and Columbus doesn't win, Ottawa jumps in that second wildcard spot. But then again, things in this wildcard spot have been crazy. It was just a week ago and the Blue Jackets had an 86% chance to clinch a playoff spot. Those odds are down to 50 already. In a week, it's gone from 86 down to 50. That's how quickly things are going to flip as odds-wise in this Eastern Conference wildcard race. It's only going to continue to do so as we enter the last month of the regular season. Yeah, again, for playoff races tonight, it's just Anaheim plays, San Jose plays, Vegas plays, Colorado plays, but obviously the big game, Pittsburgh and the Islanders. If you're a Blue Jackets fan, you are hoping that Pittsburgh wins this game in regulation because, again, while you're still a point behind the Islanders and you're even on points with Pittsburgh, at the end of the day, you have a game in hand on the Islanders still. And I feel like right now, your best chance at making the playoffs is to get in ahead of the Islanders. So you gotta hope for a win there. But obviously things get crazy tomorrow. A lot more teams play tomorrow. Let's go over tomorrow's important games real quick because there's a lot. Columbus plays Carolina. The Bruins play Dallas. The Islanders are on the road against Buffalo. The Canadiens are on the road against the Lightning. Ottawa's on the road against the Panthers. The Penguins play the Red Wings in Pittsburgh, and the Flyers go to Washington. Washington's hanging on to a hope by a thread, but I'm not expecting Washington to make it. But yeah, big game tonight, Pittsburgh and the Islanders, but all the big games are tomorrow. So be ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow there are a lot of very important games in the NHL, so be sure to pay attention tomorrow, especially if there's Eastern Conference wildcard race. You're going to see odds potentially just completely flip upside down tomorrow, depending on how the games go. So tune in to the NHL tomorrow. Tomorrow night's going to be an amazing night for hockey. Yeah, as far as my predictions go, I'm going to keep the top 3 in the Atlantic the same. I feel like these top 3 teams in the Atlantic have been playing by far the best hockey in the Eastern Conference as of late. So these 3 teams in the Atlantic make it. Carolina will clinch very soon. I'm going to say my Blue Jackets bias is going to show here because I am a Blue Jackets fan, but Pittsburgh finishes second, Columbus finishes third, Bruins and Ottawa are the wildcard teams. And then the Islanders the first team out. It is kind of crazy to see how much the Red Wings did kind of fall off recently. They're under 500 in their last 10 games. They've really struggled. And it comes at a really bad time, too. I thought Detroit was convincingly making the playoffs, and now they're the second team to miss it. So, again, that just goes to show you how tight things have been in the NHL this year. But that's that for you. That's the playoff race right now. Obviously, for these teams, if you're top 3 in your division right now, both East or West, just focus on winning. And then if you're a wildcard team, you got to hope for some luck. But those are my predictions for playoff race. Moving on to the MLB. last segment of this stream for you real quick. Opening opening weekend just kicked off. We got some games tonight. Obviously, my Reds play the Pirates. I'm gonna be at work, so I'm gonna miss it. But yeah, we got some games tonight. First game is at 4 o'clock, and after that, the big chunk of games kick off at 6:35. Obviously, with the Rangers playing Baltimore and the White Sox playing Miami, but that's what we got. We've seen some good teams. We've seen some good performances. Obviously, Yankees and Jays still the only undefeated teams left in the American League. In the National League, sorry. Sorry. Marlins 3-0 start. Brewers 3-0 start. Dodgers 3-0 start. So there's 5 undefeated teams left. 2 of them reside in the American League East, which in my opinion is going to be the best team in the best division in baseball this season. As far as a competition goes. Yeah. Those are what the standings look like right now. This next segment, I want to go over winners and losers. Who are the winners of opening weekend, and who are the losers? Winners are obvious. Any of the undefeated teams left. They all got off to great starts. Braves had a great comeback win. Mets won their series. The Nationals, I feel like, had a really good series. They definitely played a lot better against the Cubs than I thought they would. I mean, you took 2 out of 3 in Chicago. That's pretty damn good. Phillies looked rough. I'd be concerned. And again, for any team in the MLB right now, it is way too early to think whether or not they're going to be bad. Personally, I think you really got to wait until the middle or the end of June to truly see who are the best teams in baseball and who's going to be super competitive in the playoff race. Again, it's way too early to tell anything about these teams, but I'm just going over in winners and losers right now. Obviously, the ultimate losers are the Diamondbacks. The Rockies played like shit. Diamondbacks kept it competitive, but on the road against LA, what do you expect? The ultimate losers, as far as a team go, and individual, are the San Francisco Giants and Cal Raleigh. What a start to the year for Cal Raleigh. 1 for 17 with 14 strikeouts. And whopping 056 batting average for Cal Raleigh. This opening series for Cal Raleigh was truly awful. Like, it was abysmal to watch. And for a guy who talks so much about how he was robbed of MVP last season to start off this season like that, he turned away Randy Arozarenda's handshake at the end of the WBC. He's batting 056 right now. And I know it's early, but that opening series for Cal Raleigh could not have been any worse. It was decent for the Mariners. They were 2-2, split the series with Cleveland, but a truly awful series from Cal Raleigh. And then the San Francisco Giants, dude, that was a horrendous opening series. 3 games, you scored 1 run, left so many guys on base. Your ace got absolutely shelled in the opening game. It was truly terrible to watch the San Francisco Giants play. They could be really bad this year. Again, it's way too early to tell. We're only 3 or 4 games into an 162 game season, so I'm not going to shell anybody truly. But I'm just saying the opening series for the Giants was really bad. Same thing for the Rockies. Again, Diamondbacks tried. When you're playing the Dodgers, there's not much you can do, but and yeah, White Sox had a rough opening series. The Athletics had a rough opening series. I'm hoping that Mike Trout's back. It was fun to see Mike Trout play really well in their opening series, so hopefully Mike Trout's back. It would be awesome Mike Trout won MVP. 4 MVPs from Trout. And the Angels are still probably going to find a way to lose 100 games this year, so there you go. Biggest headlines for what the opening weekend were, obviously Cal Raleigh played terrible. Giants are 0 for 3. Paul Skeens had a very abysmal opening day. Again, like 4 of those runs weren't really his fault. First one was 100% his fault. But those last 4 runs, because O'Neal Cruz doesn't know how to field a fucking baseball, I mean, that was just tragic to watch. And that opening series for Pittsburgh wasn't even that bad. They competed with the Mets very well. But when you got O'Neal Cruz, he's got the fucking brain size of a fucking tic tac in the outfield. Can't play the position. Like, what do you expect? And that first error by O'Neal Cruz, on opening day. It's like he runs in, starts in, when that's the first thing they teach you about playing the outfield is not to start off running in, seeing the ball go over his head, and then the second one just outright drops it. Like, dude, there's a good chance the Pirates could have easily won that opening series, but because of O'Neal Cruz in that first inning of Game One, they didn't. So, yeah, there might be a little bit of hope for the Pirates this year. They definitely competed very well. I am impressed with how well the Pirates played. And obviously, they did spend a decent amount in the free agency this year. So, what do you know? As a Reds fan goes, I'll talk about the Reds real quick. But opening game, 3-0 loss was obviously not preferable. But you're playing Crochet. What do you expect? If you're a Red Sox fan, sure you lost a series, but you did compete. That was a very competitive series. Shouldn't be too mad yet. If you're a Reds fan, don't be concerned about Game One. You were playing the runner-up for Cy Young last year in the American League, so don't be concerned about that. Yeah, Sal Stewart, man. Sal motherfucking Stewart. What a fucking opening weekend from Sal Stewart. And as a Reds fan, obviously, your youth is your best hope for the future. Your number one prospect from last season, who is still technically he's still eligible for Rookie of the Year, by the way. Sal Stewart, 10 at bats, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 homer, 2 ribbies, 700 batting average, a 796 on base percentage, and a 2069 OPS. And sure, he's played more regular season games than that. He played a little bit last season. At the very tail end of the last season for the Reds, played their last 18 games this season, but I am very, very impressed with how well Sal Stewart's been playing. He shows a lot of maturity. He made all the right plays for a guy who's about to play his first full season in the bigs. And they have him batting cleanup. And not only are they batting him cleanup, he looked phenomenal batting cleanup. So I am very happy with how Sal Stewart played. And if there's a definite winner of opening weekend, as far as individual performances go, Sal Stewart of the Reds is one of them. He's looked controlled. He looked like he had a lot of poise. Showed a lot of maturity for a 22-year-old kid playing his first season in Major League Baseball. Like a 700 batting average is awesome, beyond phenomenal. So I am, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Reds fan. I'm saying this because I am genuinely looking forward to not only seeing how the Reds play this year. I'm looking forward to see how Sal Stewart plays because that was a phenomenal opening series from Sal Stewart. He's going to be getting a somewhat decent diamond in MLB The Show very, very soon, if I had to guess. But yeah, not as long as I thought I'd be live for. But we covered some important topics. March Madness is nearing its end. The NHL wildcard race is heating up. And Major League Baseball just kicked off, so that's fun. You know what? Let me go over this real quick. What was I getting ready to? Oh yeah. Maybe this shit works. Yeah, the NBA is also near the end of its season. Cavaliers have looked solid since picking up James Harden. Pistons and Celtics look great. It's awesome for the Celtics that Tatum's back. It's good for basketball that Tatum's back. Yeah, I would say for the Eastern Conference right now, I think they're in a similar situation as the NHL. Their playoffs do start off around the same time. So, as far as who's going to make it for the East, just the teams in it right now. But the Bucks are just way too far back to make any kind of a difference right now. And then same thing for the West. Like if you're in, like these are the teams who are like got a 99% chance of making at least the play-in or the playoffs. Thunder and Spurs look phenomenal. I am very, very, very impressed with how the Spurs have played this year. Truly, like one step closer to being a true just dynasty in the NBA with how well not just the Spurs but Wemby's been playing too. Jokic has been a dog recently. Yeah, Warriors are hanging on barely, but overall, like again, I feel like the playoff spots in the NBA right now are kind of just locked with who's in right now. I think the only question is, can the Lakers try to make a contest? Can the Lakers or the Nuggets try to really contend with the Spurs for second place in the West. Can the Spurs get the number 1 seed? And in the East, can the Celtics get the number 1 seed? Or could maybe the Cavaliers and the Knicks make a run at the Celtics for getting in the second place? So that's really it for the NBA right now. Again, the NBA outside of the top, it's not been as competitive in the playoff race as the NHL has, but NBA still been very fun to watch recently. So I think we're in for a treat this postseason. April, May, June, like those 3 months for the NHL and the NBA are going to be phenomenal to watch, and I am very excited for these postseasons. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this live stream. I just felt like it may have made more sense to go live because there's a lot to talk about. But uh, stuff's heating up, folks. Stuff's heating up, folks. March Madness is about to kick off the Final Four. NBA and the NHL are close to the playoffs, and baseball season's back. Not to mention, we're less than a month away from the NFL draft. That's going to be a very fun night, and I will try to go live for that as long as I'm off work. But until then, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a thumbs up. I'm going to post clips on Twitter and TikTok, so be sure to click on links there. At the Caleb Perez Show. It's the same. My logo on YouTube, same thing on there. So be sure to follow those. But I'm gonna do it for this episode. I'm gonna conclude this episode. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.